This week, our bank account is feeling the pressure, and August is a little bit off to a rocky start, but we're still going to move forward and try to make as much progress as possible. So let's hop into how we're handling the ups and downs of our finances. Hey y'all, welcome back to another Transfer Tuesday. I'm La, and I am on a journey to pay off over $175,000 of debt. And every Tuesday I post about how I am making transfers towards paying off that debt. Today, Transfer Tuesday is going to be a little bit different because we're going to have a real conversation about how there are going to be ups and downs in your debt payoff journey. Some weeks are going to be better than others, and some months you're going to have more expenses than others, and that will affect your ability to make those consistent strides towards paying off debt every week. So let's be real. I think sometimes the debt payoff community makes us think that paying off debt is just going to be an upward slope throughout your entire journey. But sometimes you're not going to be able to put large amounts towards debt. Like this week, we're not paying a big amount of debt off. So I want to show you guys that every week it's not going to be a big transfer on these Transfer Tuesdays. And especially when you're in between paychecks and you have large expenses. And this month has definitely had its fair share of spending for us. So like the beginning of every month, we have very large bills that come out the first few weeks of the month. We have our mortgage, which is $2,700, a large car payment, which is close to $1,000. We have daycare, which costs us $375 a week. And our first paychecks of the month happens to get eaten up by those large bills. And this month was back to school month, so we did spend a good chunk of money towards back to school shopping. So literally our bank account is pretty low right now. So over the weekend I spent $355.61 at Target on school supplies and 3 clothing items for both of my daughters. So wasn't a ton, and I was not expecting school supplies to be like just the supplies that you take to school to be that expensive. And I felt like the school supplies lists are getting larger and larger every year. I do think some of the stuff that is on the list, like the expo markers, the Sharpies and stuff like that, those are for the teachers, and I have no problem with supporting the teachers. I'm just saying that it's starting to add up every year. And then for the girls, I also ordered them some clothes off of Shein, and I spent $340 off of Shein. A few of those items were for me because with me being back in the office 3 days a week, I did need clothes that work a little bit better with my postpartum body, especially with me being nursing. So I needed items that work well with me having accessibility to my girls. And honestly, that's just how life goes sometimes. Sometimes you're going to spend a little bit more than expected or a little bit more than budgeted, but right now our bank account is sitting at $119.64 until we get paid on Friday. Yes, that's how low our bank account is sitting. And just to be transparent, that's where we're at right now. We're in between paychecks, but I don't want a Transfer Tuesday to go by without me putting some type of money towards that. So I'm putting $19.64 towards our loan. And to be honest, it feels like I'm putting nothing towards it, but I will keep in the back of my mind that this is a loan that accrues interest, and I'm taking care of some interest this week, and that's okay to make a small transfer, something less than $20. What matters is that you're consistently working towards your financial goals every week, and that's what I'm doing. And while we're here, I did just want to do a little bit of a spending check-in. So far this month, we have spent way too much on eating out. We have spent $248.62 of our $250 food budget. So yeah, not the best start for August. We have less than $1 or $1 left in our food budget. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. As you guys know, I talked about how I am commuting 3 days a week, an hour and a half each way. So that is 9 hours out of my week that could be spent cooking or spending time with my children. And I've lost that due to just driving in traffic. And coupled with my long commute, I have been working pretty long hours the first week of August trying to wrap up projects. Literally last Thursday, I went to work. I worked until about 4:30. I drove home, picked up my daughter from daycare, and I came home. I threw chicken nuggets into the air fryer and I worked until 11. So I'm just tired, and cooking has been on the back burner these last few weeks. And then on top of the long commute and the long hours, I'm still literally nursing a baby. So we are just in a tough season right now with me commuting back and forth to work, and it feels rough. And I'm just praying for strength over these next few weeks to months, because I do see that this commute does not work with my family dynamic. And I'm just praying for strength so I can get through the next months, pay off this loan, and then adjust and maybe make changes then. And I don't want to come off as if I'm complaining or if I don't feel grateful for the job that I have, because it is an amazing opportunity. But sometimes your life shifts and what you wanted to achieve in life changes. What I'm trying to achieve is just be the best mom I can be to my 3 girls and reach financial freedom. And I know that what I have set up right now is not working. And I do know that I am blessed in the landscape of the economy right now to even have a job, because I have put myself out there. I have interviewed for roles, because frankly, just working 60 to 70 hours during busy seasons is something that is tiring me out, and I'm getting older and I have kids. And it's just not something that works for me. So I am praying that something new comes up and I'll be able to take on a new opportunity that allows me to take a step back as far as my career. But I do know, based off the interviews and the chats that I've had recruiters, that that will likely come with a pay cut, if we're just being honest. So I'm trying to hold out for as long as possible and continue to work hard and do what I need to do at my job and show up 3 days a week. But I'm just praying for strength in this season and for change in this season as well. So the gist of this video is we're all human and sometimes we slip up. Budgets are projections of what you're going to spend, and sometimes projections don't go as planned. And we're going to be okay living off $100 for 3 days. I mean, it'll be fine. I've literally lived off of less for longer periods of time. There was a time where I was paid monthly, and when I was first getting into my career in accounting, I made about $2,000 a month, and I had to make that stretch for an entire month. So this $100 stretching for 3 days will be fine. We have groceries, we have everything we need, and yeah, it'll be okay. So if you could take one thing away from this video, just know that the discipline part of our journey is something that we are still working on, and it's not always going to be perfect. But consistency and showing up, even if it feels small, is what's going to take you throughout your journey over time. So if you're still here and listening to my yap session, let me know, how is your August starting off? Let me know what transfers you made this week, and if you have not hit subscribe or touch the like button yet, make sure you go ahead and do that. And if you're interested in seeing how much we paid down debt in July, click this video right here.